So the Major League Baseball Now interview that I have pinned on my reels, and then I just posted a clip of it today. There's background to that, and I want to bring some context to it because it's huge as far as my journey is concerned and my message. So when I was told that I was going to be on the show, it was the end of January in 2019. I'd already published a book. I was coming on as Dr. Tommy John, published author. A survival guide for parents was what I had published. That was the agreement. That was what the project that we created. And so I'm excited because it was a national program. It was national television, and with national television means more sales, and more sales of that book means more opportunities for people to change. That's how I saw it. Because the book was not going to make me any money. That's not the point of it. It was to get as many copies into hands, into homes, so that you didn't have to come into my office. That was the whole driver behind the thing. You didn't have to come visit me to grasp these concepts and principles that I was breaking down at that time. Was 18 years in or 17 years into the profession of performance and healing, with the information that I had access to per my experience through it, clinically and personally. And so while prepping for this visit to New York City, where I think I lined up maybe 8 or 9 different interviews. But this was the big one. It was national. And I had played it in my head. I saw us sitting in these high chairs, high top chairs, but I saw in like a group. I didn't know how the show worked. I didn't watch the show. I don't watch those kinds of programs. But I was like, God, per my coaching for people who had worked with me, and you have to be concise, you have to be to the point, you have to be very deliberate, and very, very brevity has to be expressed, because you don't have a lot of time to get across your point. You can't explain things. It's sound bites. That's what the whole deal is. So I'm walking the beach here, and I'm prepping for the time weeks ahead of time. And I'm like, okay, they could ask this question. This would be interesting. This question, how would I answer this question? Okay, here's that. And I was just playing questions in my head to practice the answers over and over, which as a former athlete, that's what you do with practice. You visualize over and over and over and over what you're going to do. No different in understanding healing. You're going to play over and over and over, especially if you're trying to retrain your subconscious or go into beliefs or some of the other elements that nobody wants to talk about in healing. Rather, they talk about food and light. So what I had left with when I was walking was, if there's one question they can ask me, what do I want the nation to hear? What do I want the United States to hear from my mouth? If this is my only time, my only opportunity, I am going to take advantage of this. So the question that I had, the point that I had was that nobody's going to save you. There's no doctor, there's no therapist, there's no facility, there's no diet, there's no program, there's no method, there's no hack, there's no technology, there's nothing that's going to save anybody from injury epidemics or becoming injured. That was the angle I had to take. I had to only talk injuries. And that was what I wanted them to understand, that everything that they were going to do to understand injury was going to come from their hands, their minds, their bodies, and their homes. That's what I wanted. So what I had planned on was the question never got asked, and I was going to stop right before they were exiting the show. I was going to be like, wait, can I say something real quick before we sign off? And I was going to look in the camera. I had visualized this. I grabbed the camera and I'm staring the nation dead in the eyes, or whoever's watching, and I shared that bit. So I go out to New York, stay in a hotel, get ready for the show. We go out to their complex, and I was whisked from studio to studio, and I was ready for this. And Brian Kenny, he was stoked. He had my book. He had read it. He had stopped me ahead of time, and he's like, Dr. Tommy, I love this book. This is going to be fantastic. Our interview is going to be great. As I'm walking down the hallway before we go on, I'm like, hell yeah. He's like, especially about the technology and all this stuff. So he was excited about certain parts of it. Like, okay. When we get off, you'll see in the clip, watch the clip, the first question he asks is, if you could say to parents one thing. Now he said parents because we were talking about youth and injuries. And so I was like, And you can see me, I'm getting like agitated in my seat because I cannot believe he asked this. I can't believe it happened. And I'm like getting so excited, and I'm like fidgeting, and I'm getting ready to just burst with information because this was the first question. And literally after I broke down that answer, according to the demographic that we're going at, parents and youth sports and injury epidemics, orthopedic injury epidemics, I could have given a shit what questions were asked. I don't even know what we went into. I don't know what the other questions were. I know that I got that part out. The problem is what gets washed out is, well, disease and illness is different. No, it's not. It's all coming from the same place. There is no doctor, facility, metric, technique, method, form of medicine that has a name, license, degree, or anything that's going to save you in regards to illness, quote unquote, disease, youth, or adult. Only I couldn't talk about that. And what's frustrating is I would go around to schools. I donated my time to 80 to 100 schools in San Diego and LA, published in June 5th, 2018. So prior to that, for like the year and a half prior, I was just meeting schools because I just moved to California. I'm like, I'll just reach out. I got a message. I'll donate my time. I love doing this. And the schools, of course, were like, hell yeah, to get people to come out and talk to these kids. They'd love it. Well, the parents would attend sometimes, superintendents, coaches, and the athletes, teenagers all the way down. And there would be notebooks. Everyone would have notebooks. Everybody would go. The second I started breaking it down, because now it's on my call. I can public speak. And I was breaking it down from injuries to asthma to allergies to cancer to orthopedic to ankles to ACLs to autoimmune to, it doesn't matter. The second I started breaking down more than food and training, everyone kind of put their notebook down and didn't really take notes. They didn't want to take notes. They literally, and then the questions I would get after, they literally would go, well, what exercises could I do to prevent elbow injuries? What foods can we eat to prevent injuries? What can we do? Oh, wow, I've got hormones. What could I eat and train to prevent these feelings from happening? Everything was this, tell us the highlights. Don't get into any of this other stuff like emotions and beliefs. Don't talk about any of that. Just give us the basically the easy stuff. And if you've been following my information, you understand where that's coming from. So again, that was alarming to me in 2017. And then I published, and then I went ahead and burned my degrees and burned my license and left chiropractic for obvious reasons that I just needed to be more honest with, and left all that where I was hoping that all systems and methods would dissolve and crumble. All educational, financial, fashion, sports, medicine, rehab, training, everything was gone. Diets, nutrition, the systems were to just crumble. And I'm going to do a video on that and bring back burning my degrees, because I've had a whole bunch of people reach out that they loved the video of when I was burning my degrees in the mountains. And that was a pivotal moment in my life for sure, and stood for more than what people are understanding about me. So when you watch that clip, now that you know the backstory, now see it with a little more weight. And there's another thing. I wanted to get on a public speaking circuit, so I'd hired a manager through my agent. Had given me a name. This woman was top notch. Okay, paying her a fee. She's gonna book me. Boom. It was real professional. This is my message. This is where I'm going. These are all the angles we could take. We could take rehab. You could take injuries. You could take illness. You could take medicine. You could take nutrition. You could take rest. You could take anything performance and healing of the human. She's like, this is fantastic because you can address everything. I'm like, exactly. So she's like, all right, made a profile for me. I had published book. I had news stories. I had links with all these national newspapers and all this stuff. She's like, this is going to be a slam dunk. You're a doctor. You have a name. You have a book. You have a brand already. You have a following. You have a practice. You have tons of experience. This is going to be no problem. And then 2 months go by and she's like, Tommy, I got to say, stop paying me my fee until I book you something. I've never seen this before. I'm like, what? She's like, I've never, with somebody with as much as you have to offer, have never been able to book somebody. And I'm starting to learn that your message is a threat to all these is a threat to all these organizations that I'm reaching out to. And the organizations aren't just sports. They're everything, healing and performance. She's like, I've never seen this before. And I'm like, I mean, my message isn't me getting angry. It's just honesty and sensical, basic fucking from the source. You can't prove it wrong. And she's like, no, I know. I don't have my gallbladder. I wish I'd met you before. My son's got this, and this. I wish I'd met. Well, that's okay. And we broke down certain things, but she was just like, I can't get you hired because your message is a threat. And that got me to thinking, like, that's interesting. If anything works and is honest and true, and the organization or the people own the shit, how can anything threaten it? Nothing's going to ever be a threat to me or to you understanding your own healing. Nothing can break through that. Nothing can get through to you. There is no threat because you only know what you can do with you, and it's certain, and it's always there, and it always makes sense, and it always works. Shit that works all the time can't be threatened. That's where that certainty and trust and confidence and autonomy and health freedom comes from. It comes from within you. When you get that, there's no fucking threats. So that's why I'm like, how am I a threat? And what are these people doing? And that alarmed me because, again, this was 2019, published 2018. This was 19. So this was like 5, 6 years ago. And then the rest is just falling off a cliff. So when you watch that clip, there's a little more backstory to it. So again, if there was one thing that I could say, if there's one take-home message to the world, and I cease to exist after this cup of coffee, it is that your healing responses, your injuries are perfect. Your body is never against you. It is never wrong. It never attacks you. It's never confused. It's never dysregulated. It's never off. It's never janky. It's never whack. You are the only person that has the answers to what your next move is going to be. You're the only one that has the full amount of medicine within your hands, mind, your feet, and everything around you and within you. You're the only one. There is no facility. There is no degree. There are no letters before or after a name. There is no license. There is no named medicine. There is no organization, facility, or method or system that will ever save you, make sense, give you what you're needing to understand this moving forward, no matter who you are or what's going on with you. It does not exist. That's it. Game over.